In one of my favorite episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants, we see SpongeBob breaking his butt. When this happens, he takes his life and just lives inside for the rest of it. Until eventually, at the end of the episode, where Patrick and Sandy are able to get him out. SpongeBob is living indoors as a subjective view. Seeing the world as a dangerous place, not wanting to go out and live it in danger, he brings himself inside and protects himself. This idea of having a subjective view on the world is shown in today's quotation. Television is more interesting than people. If it were not, we would have people standing in corners of our rooms. By Alan Jordan. What Alan is saying here is that people should not be in the corners of their rooms because television is there instead. Television is subjectively better to him because it gives him the entertainment that he wants. But like us sitting here today, you guys are listening to me, not watching TV. It's a different subjective view. So essentially, we see in today's quotation, which we are agreeing with, is that everything is subjective. We're going to look into this 2 points of analysis. First, we understand the world through subjectivity, and secondly, our subjectivity drives innovation. So first, just like SpongeBob decided to live inside, it was because of the experiences that he had. By changing the ways that he lived, by becoming a surface feeder, he allowed himself to change what he did because of his environment. This is exactly what we do too. We do it through operant conditioning, and we can see an example of this through Charlie Puth. Operant conditioning is a theory by Skinner, which in 3 main points says, a stimulus sets the occasion for a response, second, a response happens, and then finally, we have a consequence from that response. So, like me giving this speech right now, it's a stimulus for you guys to respond with nonverbals. So, the consequence of you guys laughing means that I'm probably doing something well, and you are liking me, again, more than TV. Applying this to Charlie Puth, we can see that Charlie Puth looked at the world around him when he was making his first album. He saw what was popular during the time because he wanted to be popular too. Who can blame him? So by copying with his own style of what popular songs were there at the time, he was able to make a very popular album, allowing himself to be on the top 5 of the Billboard 200 with his freshman album. His response to knowing what was happening around the world allowed himself to make his album, and consequently, becoming popular. Through operant conditioning, and how we saw in Charlie Puth, we can also agree that we understand the world through our own subjectivity, and it allows us to, secondly, become innovative and have success. So just like SpongeBob living inside, it allowed him to have the success of not dying. But it also allowed himself to be really non-consequentially focused on being himself and having no friends. But furthering this, we can see the innovation of other people and companies around the world with Ben & Jerry's and, secondly, SpaceX. With Ben & Jerry's, we can see that when they started, they wanted to be like all the other cool kids and make bagels. But unfortunately, being a cool kid is expensive. So when trying to buy bagel machines, it was too expensive for them. So instead, they bought ice cream machines, which was extremely more cheap and allowed them their success. By changing the ways that they were thinking and being innovative in what they could do, they were able to gain themselves success by not competing with anybody else. Secondly, we can see through SpaceX, by sticking to your innovation and keep on going with it, you can grant yourself success. SpaceX was thought of an idea of first by Elon Musk to make mice on Mars. This was a crazy idea to everybody at a NASA convention, and he got pushed away from anyone. While eventually wanting to buy a space rocket from NASA, Elon Musk didn't really set him up straight. So he went to Russia instead. And then that led to him getting declined again, which his innovations took in, and he made his own rockets, allowing them to eventually get into orbit, and then NASA to be, oh, we should have really believed in you, because they ended up giving a $1.2 million grant to him. By sticking with what he believed in and having his innovation take success, Elon Musk with SpaceX was able, just like Ben & Jerry's, to show his own subjectivity in order for his innovation to take through. Going back to today's quote, by Alan Korek, television is more interesting than people. If it were not, we would have people standing in the corners of our rooms. We agreed with Alan here because everything is subjective. Just like how Alan believes TV is more important than anything else, We believe that I'm more important than anything else. A little ego boost. We looked into this as everything being subjective in 2 points of analysis. First, how we understand the world subjectively, and secondly, by understanding it through subjectivity, it allows us to be innovative. Just like SpongeBob having a new idea because of the world around him to live inside, it allowed him to stay safe. But with the negative consequence of not having any friends, and Patrick and Sandy at the end of the episode getting chased around by an underwater gorilla, it's a weird TV show, he eventually needed to come back out and save them. By risking his life and changing his subjective view once again, we allowed ourselves to see that we, just like SpongeBob, are subjective.